Welcome back to Tuesday's Loose Women. Doors to Manual. Have a different uniform on tomorrow. Quick comment about wolf whistling here. There's lots of them actually, but this one, a chance of a wolf whistle would be a fine thing. I used to be whistled at all the time, now nothing. That's from Linda in North London.
Oh. That could change.
Right, in just a moment we'll be chatting to the music legend George Benson, and then Linda from North London will pick up, I'll tell you. But first, it's competition time again. If you fancy a sensational summer, take a look at this.
Let us transform.
Of soul, whose music career has spanned so many decades,
PM on Sunday the 13th of July will not be counted but may still be charged. Good luck.
Now our final guest is a king of soul whose music career has spanned so many decades. He no doubt provided the soundtrack to your youth. Please welcome George Benson. And George, can I introduce you to your biggest fan, Linda from North London?
Yeah, I love you. It's a pleasure, really.
Lovely to meet you. Coming to see you tonight, George. Me and my husband are coming.
Very good.
I think you're responsible
Tomorrow
for
night,
three
actually.
children there, actually, George. I think your music.
I hear that kind of thing all the time. As a matter of fact, one of the conversations I used to have with Luther Vandross, he said, George, I wonder how many children we caused to be born. I said, don't go there, man.
Well, that's a lovely name to drop, isn't it, Luther Vandross? But you have worked with, everybody, really. I mean, Sinatra, Stevie Wonder. I mean, well, the list goes on and on and on. Who are the ones that really stand out for you?
Well, the ones that you mentioned, one of the last things that I did, well, when he was alive, Sinatra, I worked with him on a recording date called L.A. is My Lady. And he looked over and he saw me and he said, George Benson, bring your stool over here. And I looked around, who's he talking to? I didn't think he knew who I was, you know.
Yeah.
So he made me bring the stool over and sat right next to him. And he said, your guitar playing, everybody knows and they love. He said, I love your voice. And I could never get past that. I mean, I still hear that ringing in my ears today. You know?
Incredible. And Michael Jackson, another person. Did you work with Michael Jackson?
I didn't work with him. I met him right here in London.
Yeah.
During the late 70s. He was, we both had afros that came out to here, you know. It looked like umbrellas, you know. And I think I was working at the Hammersmith Odeon or maybe Wembley Arena. And he had just put out a smash album that his career was rocketing to the top of the charts. So I've always liked him. You know, he had a great personality, and I knew he was going to be not an ordinary guy. I think everybody that knew him loved him, and I still do.
You've had the opportunity to work with so many legends, musical legends, and you're a legend in your own right. You really are. We were singing along there, weren't we, Linda? All of us were. Who do you think, looking at what's going on currently in the world of music, who would you say that we should keep our eye on? Who's the next Frank Sinatra, Michael Jackson?
I don't know about that, but, because there are a lot of people out there. But the one that is the big surprise, and it shouldn't be because she was born beautiful, and that's Rihanna. I'm amazed at her career. Very consistent, you know, in an atmosphere where they got queens of music. The women have taken over the music industry, and rightfully so. They've been working hard at it for many years. Lady Gaga took hold of that reign and took it to the moon, and here comes this kid, Rihanna. Everywhere I go in the world, I either see her or she's working at a stadium down the street, and I'm doing an arena over here. But it's always a lot of love in the air, and her music just seems to fit the times.
Well, and you're working as hard as ever. You're on a European tour. I've got a new album here, Inspiration, which is actually a tribute to somebody you never met, but you were a great, he was a great influence on you, Nat King Cole.
It's true. It's an amazing thing. I know most of his family. I know 2 of his 3 brothers that he had. And I'm very good friends with them. I met his son before he passed away. I know Natalie very well. We do a lot of concerts together. And I met his wife, Maria Cole. And at one time, I was going to do the film about Nat's story. But she said something very interesting to me. She said, George, she said, when I go someplace and I tell people my name is Maria Cole, they said, you mean Nat's wife? She said, yes. And she said, they treat her like a queen. But she was afraid that Hollywood would do something that would cast a negative image on Nat. And so she canceled the film. She said, well, they're not going to do it while I'm alive, she said. So I never got a chance to do it. But this album is my, my way of paying tribute to an incredible individual.
Well, I have to make sure that we've got time to play the clip because we're limited in time. But this is absolutely beautiful. Here we go. This is from Inspiration.
If you ever plan to motor west, travel my way, it's the highway that's the best. Get your kicks on Route 66. Well, now you go through St. Louis, Joplin, Missouri, and Oklahoma City looks mighty pretty.
Particular track there, is that one that you'd recorded when you were a child? Am I right in thinking that? Or is that somewhere else on the album?
Yeah, the first thing on the album is me at 8 years old, or 7, I can't remember now, but I did a recording. I won a singing contest, and the reward was they were going to take you in the studio. In my hometown, Pittsburgh, they didn't have good studios. They just took me in a little box, and they turned on a recorder, and I had my ukulele, and I was singing Mona Lisa.
Oh, I love that.
But when I heard it back, many years later, I was shocked. I said, how did you... My mother had saved it, If she hadn't saved that, we would have missed an incredible moment in my life. So in the album, it's there. So buy the album, please.
So, George, tomorrow, what can I expect? A lot of the old stuff, not new stuff, eh? I like all the old ones.
And you're correct. Because we come here for you. You're the public. You're the reason why we're here. Because you bought all those records. We're somewhere around 75 million albums, And it's quite an accomplishment, especially for someone who comes from the jazz world. But when I'm on that stage, I can think of nothing but making my audience happy. And I know they love all those things you just played.
Yeah.
And those are my favorite things I've ever recorded. You didn't play on Broadway, but I'm going to play it.
And the fabulous story, and sadly we have run out of time now, but I just have to tell people that your story too, your autobiography is out very soon, so people can hear all those stories about how you got into music as a very young guy. George Benson, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Tomorrow, Colleen, Julia, Sherry and myself will be joined by Sophie Ellis-Bextor. The Lunchtime News is next.